Hello, my friends. Welcome to Feng Shui Secrets. I'm Mary Catherine Bax, and I want to give you a deeper understanding of the ancient art of Feng Shui, dispel the myths, and offer you practical ways to harmonize the clashing elements of Qi so that you can reach your highest potential on the battlefield of life. With me today is a man who set out to disprove Feng Shui. He thought it was pure superstitious. He felt it was snake oil being sold to people in desperate times. But as fate would have it, he is now the founder of the Feng Shui Research Center in Toronto. He has trained proficient Feng Shui practitioners all over the world. Master Joseph Yu. Joseph, welcome to Feng Shui Secrets.
Thank you.
Joseph, you grew up in rural China in a tumultuous time. It was the rise of General Mao. The Cultural Revolution was beginning. Can you tell me, did this have a profound effect on helping you understand Feng Shui?
Well, as a matter of fact, I left China mainland in 1951. So I've not encountered the Cultural Revolution. But I spent 2 years, almost 2 years, in the countryside, walking the mountain barefooted. That gave me the feeling, everything about the mountain, about the water. And this feeling cannot be replaced with classroom teaching because, well, nobody was teaching me. At that time, I was about 5 or 6, walking the mountains, just getting the feeling of nature. And that helped a lot. That helped me a lot afterwards.
So when you left mainland China, you went to Hong Kong?
I first went to Macau and spent half a year there before I could go to Hong Kong. That was the rule in those days.
And did your family move to Hong Kong because of what was going on in China?
Oh, definitely. My father went to Hong Kong before the communist occupation. And we moved to Hong Kong 2 years later.
When I was at one of the seminars in Toronto, I met one of your friends who went to school with you. And he told me that when you graduated high school in Hong Kong, you were the #1 student in all of Hong Kong.
Well, no, as a matter of fact, I can remember these things now because it is just like winning in a baby crawling contest. I have forgotten all this.
But what that told me is that you have a very strong academic foundation.
Yes, in a way.
Because you went on to become a math and physics teacher?
That's right.
And you also are the author of math textbooks?
Yes, that's right.
That, I believe, are they still in use today in Hong Kong?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. But so you have your scientific background is solid and it's professional.
Yes, that's right.
So can you tell me how it came about where you decided you wanted to disprove Feng Shui?
Well, I was quite annoyed, in a way, by the way how people practice Feng Shui and astrology. So I thought it was the roadblock to modernizing China. And I tried to denounce it. But before doing so, I thought I must know it first. Know exactly what it is about first. So I went to the library, read a lot of books, about Feng Shui, the ancient texts, and I found that it is totally not the image people are giving to Feng Shui. It was actually something that is very academic, but however, not in the sense that it can be a science. Because of my scientific background, I knew that what are the ingredients for something to become scientific? And there is no way that it can be. However, it doesn't mean that it is nonsense, because there are just a lot of things that cannot be explained by science.
So you had a little bit of a revolutionary streak in you too, when you wanted to denounce Feng Shui, which is part of China's rich metaphysical culture.
Well, as a matter of fact, that was my thought only. It never happened, because I found that it is entirely not that way.
Was there a defining moment when you were learning about Feng Shui that you said, this works?
No. Actually, I started with the theory and tried to understand how it was developed. And I thought it makes sense. But of course, everything has to be proved. It has to be proved that it works this way. But you see, I do not consider that some kind of magic. That if you put a piece of some water there, then you will get rich the next day or the next month. It's totally not this way. It is the energy that help you without you knowing, actually, at work and in doing various things. But can we prove it? We can, of course, because we have no proof. We cannot set up experiments to show that it actually works.
And it's one of those where you don't know what would happen if you didn't have Feng Shui. Like, well,
that is correct.
And I would say it's almost like we're playing defense. Sometimes we're diverting bad times, or we're making them less bad, but we wouldn't. How do we prove that? Except that our life has quality.
No. That is why a lot of scientists say that there is no proof. Well, it actually has no proof. But the good thing about this is when I Feng Shui a home for my clients for so many years, I diagnosed that some homes are actually having problems, and I told the clients what the potential problems are, and the clients say, well, it already happened. You see? Now, of course, that isn't enough, because I can't do it for every home, because in some homes, there isn't serious problems. Then you can't tell anything. But and also what I found is that people are attracted to the homes they deserve living. So, of course, I can't prove it. It's just from my experience.
But you've had positive results for a lot of your clients. where they're
Yes.
struggling with their business.
Yes. Well, sometimes very simple things to change the elemental setting in a room even. I remember it wasn't my client. A lady sent me an email showing her desk at work. And of course, I asked a little further about how the house was facing, etc. Then I told her, okay, she was in America, in the United States. I told her, well, she was having problem with colleagues, you see. A lot of gossip, a lot of fighting. So I told her simply, put an American flag on your desk. A small one would do. After a week, she sent me an email saying, well, I got promotion after I put it within 1 week. Now, of course, I can't say for sure that my recommendation worked the way she thought it worked.
So
But it happened.
were you giving her a fire cure?
Yes.
The flag?
Because it was what her desk was situated in a place where we call, in Feng Shui terms, the fighting bullsha.
Okay.
And it worked. So happened. I can only say, so happened.
Well, Joseph, my initial contact with you is I was calling for, my brother-in-law was very sick. Mm-hmm. And I had just started learning about Feng Shui. I had to do a research project in a college course I was taking. And I remember I asked on this internet site I was on if Feng Shui would help with health. And someone told me to contact you. And I thought, oh my gosh, a Feng Shui master from Hong Kong. How can I afford this? But I love my brother-in-law, and I would do anything to help him. So I called you, and I emailed you, and you told me very simply that you didn't have time to do an off-site job, but could I send you the year the home was built and the direction? And it was a period 5 home, so you told me this is a very tough home. But you said have the middle of the house open and put metal in his room. And my brother-in-law is having and this was 12 years ago, and he is enjoying his life. And he had he had a tumor the size of a football on his chest. And he now has a couple calabashes, and I'm sure they're under the bed. And I'm not even sure if he believes in Feng Shui, but when I look at their life, to me that's what made me believe that there was something profound and helpful to man.
There may be some other factors. Maybe it's his destiny. It's his destiny to suffer a bit and then to recover because of you. You see, sometimes it just works out like this, and we can't prove it.
Right, and that's where you don't let your practitioners just learn Feng Shui. You also want them to learn astrology, because yes, you see how that goes hand in hand. Mm-hmm. There's just not one thing in life, that's going to solve all our problems. It's more we just need to understand what they are.
Yes, it's important not to know our future, but to know what we encounter in the future. And then we can prepare to have a better result in the future.
Because this is what, in ancient China, this is what generals used for battle, wasn't it? To understand what their strategy would be when they were going into battle?
Yes. That is what is called qi men deng jia. But today we consider life is a battle. We are in a battlefield every day, depending on how you look at life. To some people, life is an ongoing fighting process. You fight for what you want. So, qi men deng jia is the right thing to learn.
It's a difficult one to learn, but I keep trying.
It's difficult. But it's very rewarding.
Do you have a lot of clients that ask you about qi men deng jia?
No, not a lot. But a lot of them just ask me to do a date selection with qi men deng jia, and I told them, well, you have been misinformed. It is not to be used in this way. It is a comprehensive analysis of your present situation, what you are going to encounter, and how to deal with it to get the best result. So it is not just date selection. Of course, it's part of it. You select a day to attack, or you sit tight and prepare for receiving attack, and how to deal with it.
They say that's the only thing we really have control of, is how we react to the...
That's right. Otherwise, what's the use of knowing the future? You see, we know there are a lot of computer games today to play. Now, if you know what you are going to encounter, you will know what weapon you are going to choose and which direction you are going to go in order to win the battle. So life is just like a computer game, I would say. Perhaps there are some higher beings who created us as part of his game, but we play the game ourselves.
And I think that's what qi is. It's this force with personality that has an influence on us.
This is the best part of Feng Shui and all Chinese metaphysics studies. We do not consider qi as something that is lifeless. Now, in science, most of the things we encounter are without life. You see? We have electricity, we have fire, we have all these things. But the study of Feng Shui and other Chinese metaphysics subjects treat other things as living things. The entire universe is considered a living entity, and we are surrounded with all kinds of living things. Otherwise, for example, when we talk about stars in Ziwei Dao Shu or in Feng Shui, how can we describe them as having certain characteristics, certain characters, good and bad, if they are not living? You see, only living things can have characters. Other things, well, if you look at a building, for example, you can see what the architect wants to tell you, what the architect wants to build. It is his product, and the product has life. Otherwise, he's not a good architect. It must have life. So even these things have life, have characters. But then, some characters have a good impact, a positive impact on us. Some have bad impact on us. How do we deal with these things? That's that's what we are concerned with.
And it's interesting because most people, when they hear feng shui, they're expecting me to bring a three-legged toad or a cat with a moving hand. But at the Feng Shui Research Center, our number one cure for almost everyone is that beautiful sound of metal.
I like anything that is beautiful, because what is beautiful can create some kind of beautiful chi from your heart, and you become beautiful as well. So if you like the cat waving to you, you feel welcomed, you feel that this is the right place you should be in, that's fine. Perfectly all right. That is perfectly along the line of Feng Shui theories. No problem.
I was reading a novel that took place in China in the 1800s, and the woman was talking about her son's education and how during that time that they would study heaven, earth, and man, the sun, the moon, and the stars. And they asked the son which was most important. And he said, well, heaven brings us the weather. But what good is a soft rain if the earth is not fertile? And what good is good earth if men are not living in harmony? And I thought, boy, I would love to go into that classroom, and that's what that's what you've brought back. That we have to live. There's just, you can have wonderful feng shui, but if you have evil in your heart, what good is it?
That is correct. Today, this subject is taught in many places with a lot of tables, a lot of formulas. You just practice according to the formula, how to place water, how to do this and that, all according to the tables that you are given. Well, that is not the way. Well, it may be some other people's way, but it's not my way.
Now, you haven't had many courses lately. You haven't had a seminar in a while. Are you retiring on us, or is there something new on the horizon?
Both ways. You see, I was thinking, okay, my students are good teachers now. They can go to teach. You see, I can travel to 20 countries a year, which I did some years back. But if I can train 10 students who can teach, then it's 10 times. If they replace me. So I sit back and just give support. And I write more courses. But this time I'm not traveling because this year actually, my doctor advised me not to, because for people of my age, the immune system is going down, and you can't fight with nature. So I travel less. I travel only go to a cruise, spend good time with my friends, but not teaching. However, I am still writing. I'm still preparing some materials. And the next course after Chimandanjia will be Da Liu Ren, which I call it Liu Renology.
So
That
Ren
is
is Yang water. This is a study of
Yang water. Well, the name. There's a reason. There are good reasons to name this study the Da Liu Ren. Well, actually, it was Liu Ren, but some people invented a very simplified way to do it. And so most people who practice Liu Ren call what they practice as Da Liu Ren, the big one, and call the other one, the simplified one, the small one. Well, the small one is just a bunch of formulas. That's not what I like. But Da Liu Ren is very useful because it deals with almost everything in our daily life.
So this will help people more to strategize on how to reach their highest potential?
Yes. What you see, what you will encounter in the future, and then you just think about a way to deal with it. Now, for example, if according to divination you are going to get sick, certain kind of illness, we pinpoint to which organ is affected, let's say, then you can prepare for it. Ask the doctor, you see. Ask your doctor. Go to have a checkup, and then mind your diet. It helps, of course. But we are not going to recommend that you're going to put this and that in your house to remove the illness. You see, it's the doctor who will remove your illness.
So Joseph, we started period 8 in Feng Shui back in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And, the Feng Shui that you teach, we have this 20-year cycle. And period 8 started in 2004. But that's been a pretty tumultuous time in the world. A lot of insidious qi around, people doing some very destructive things. Do you think the second half of period 8 will improve? Next year we start Jia Wu, a new decade.
Well, I think the 20-year period, according to San Yuan, Jiu Yuan, the 9 luck periods, is basically to study the timeliness of the stars that we use in Feng Shui. Now, if we want to get a bigger picture of the world where we live in, there are 2 ways. It's all according to the trigram of the Xiantian Bagua, or in the West it is known as the pre-heaven trigrams, pre-heaven Bagua. Now in this case, I would consider there are 8 periods according to the trigrams. Then period 8 started much earlier. In this system, the number of years that a period covers is based on the yin and yang lines of a trigram. And period 8 actually doesn't refer to the gun trigram, but rather the Jan trigram. Now, it's shocking. So we expect a lot of shocking things during period 8.
Okay.
Fighting, war, a lot of things like the September 11.
And was that period 8 then?
And started, yes. And started.
That makes more sense.
A lot of earthquakes. Jan is earthquake. And similar things to earthquake, like bombing, all such things, fighting. Because the trigram gun, I don't think, refer to these things. It is from the Xian Tian Ba Gua. You see, a lot of people just mix up things. They say, okay, period X started in 1996, and then they started using the trigram gun to explain things. You see, you're mixing two systems. And it doesn't make sense. Now, once you know that, period 8, according to that system, should refer to trigram Jan that explains the current world situation much better.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Well, Joseph, I'm looking forward to more classes. Will you be doing online classes since you don't want to travel?
Online classes will be one option. You see, technology is just wonderful. So the way we are talking to each other today,
I know.
it's wonderful.
It is.
I think I cannot get away with live courses, but it will happen in Toronto because I don't want to fly anymore. When the time is right, I will do it.
It's how it goes, isn't it? We have to go. Time rules. Time. Yeah. What I love about learning from you is that time is also probably the most powerful chi we have. Mm-hmm. That time is a spirit.
Yes, time is a spirit.
And if we learn that instead of, trying to do something when the time's not right, we're just wasting our energy.
Correct. And the result will not be good.
And I try to tell people when I use my novice astrology skills I'm not a fortune teller, I'm not a psychic. I'm only trying to tell them what best to put their energy in at that time.
Yeah.
So if it's a time where it doesn't look like they can make a lot of money, then don't worry about money. Maybe this is a time to learn a new skill. So then when wealth comes, you can optimize that time.
We live to look for happiness. But money is not happiness. Money is actually the cause of all troubles. Don't ask for trouble then.
Because it feeds power?
Yes, so whatever, you see, money is something that we cannot do without. However, when we have enough, when money can help us to have happiness, peace of mind, this kind of things, why look for more? You see, when money comes in a natural way, receive it, welcome it, and enjoy it. You see, when I see some people just busy making money, and in such a way, they cannot have the time and the energy to enjoy what money can offer. That is a pity.
Well, Joseph, I want to thank you today for your wisdom and for your...
You're welcome.
And I want to thank you for starting the Feng Shui Research Center. It's just been a delight learning about China's rich metaphysical culture. If it wasn't for you, people in the West would never know this, because isn't that how it was in China, that Feng Shui was to kept secret and to be passed on to their disciples in a secretive way?
That's not the way. Anyway, I'm happy how it works. I'm happy that I've trained many students who are now good teachers, teaching the right things, and have more people knowing what Feng Shui and Chinese metaphysics is about.
Well, I'm looking forward to when time brings a new course. I'll be first in line signing up. So.
Okay, we've set up a time that we can all get together and get back the feeling of old times.
Yes, it was a great learning experience. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Joseph. Till next time.
Till next time.
Namaste.
Bye-bye.